Hey everybody, and welcome back to Virtual Berlin Tours with me, Nick Jackson. I'm just out and about in kind of a forgotten part of Berlin today. It's one of the oldest parts of the city, as I'll show you in a sec, but I wanted to come down and show you where I found a bit of Berlin archaeological treasure. And it's this thing. Looks a bit like a coin, but it turns out that it's not. I wanted to show you where I found it and what it is. I'm actually an archaeologist. I spent over a decade excavating in places like Syria and Jordan and Turkey. And, once you're an archaeologist, it kind of sticks with you. Once an archaeologist, always an archaeologist. And, really, for nearly all of my adult life, in fact, even when I was a kid, I spent most of the time wandering around, looking at the ground, kind of find stuff. Also, as an archaeologist, one of the weird things about living in Berlin is that for a town that's so massively studied, you think, World War I, World War II, the Holocaust, the years of the Berlin Wall. Berlin is one of the most studied towns in the world, but interestingly, one of the things that we don't really know is precisely when, why, how the town of Berlin was born at all. So archaeological excavation has shown us that the town probably sprung up in the 1100s at the time of the Crusades, and it was kind of a vibrant merchant town in the wild east, outside Christian Western Europe, but Christian settlements merging with an indigenous Slavic population founded the town, and it started to spread so that within centuries, as we know, it would become the town that took on the world. One of the most interesting areas around here when you think about Berlin, most people think of the Berlin Wall, is that right behind me, that is the original Berlin Wall. Look behind, you can see it's made of granite blocks. They were left from the Ice Age, 16,000 years ago as the ice melted. Those granite blocks from further north in Scandinavia were deposited here on this crushed sandy plain. This was started in the 13th century, so from the 1250s onwards. Other side of that would have been a moat, probably twice as high as it is now. So the real Berlin Wall is the medieval city wall from the late 13th century. Have a look at this map, see where the arrow is. That's where we're standing now. We're just inside that little town. So scanning the ground like a weird addiction means I found all sorts of fascinating stuff. But one of the places that I focus on weirdly in Berlin are parks, for a reason I'll explain in a sec, and building sites. Now this town's got more building sites than you know what to do with. It's been like that for the 27 years that I've lived here, because Berlin's still gluing itself back together after the years of division with the communist Berlin Wall. This is the heart of East Berlin where we are now, and it's still modernising since that division. So you can see a little building site right here, look. Building sites are holes in the ground, so it's always worth having a look in there as an archaeologist. But parks, why parks? After World War II, East Germany demolished huge areas of the city and started to rebuild it. Could say that process is finishing now. But areas where houses that were too damaged to be renovated were destroyed, they often made open, grassy spaces, like the thing that I'm standing on now. So parks were levelled and they were filled with rubble from destroyed Berlin, so they're full of people's lives. If you look here behind me, you can see from the same time as the wall, this is a mid-1200s or 13th century Franciscan monastery, and it was just over here behind me by those trees that I found this weird little thing. And here you can see peeking through the window the magnificent TV tower built by Communist East Germany in 1969. So East Germany left this, having consolidated the ruins to show the horrors of war, but it used to be surrounded by buildings. So this space here is now a park. In fact, just on the other side of that was a famous school called the Grey School, where people like Otto von Bismarck, the great Chancellor of Prussia, who unified Germany in 1871, where he graduated from. So this park, where the houses would have been demolished. That was done in the 50s, and it was packed with rubble, decorated by these statues. But winter's always a good time to look, so there's not really much grass, and when there's no snow, it's kind of snowy as you can see, when there's no snow, all the leaves have gone, the grass is gone, you can find all sorts of stuff. So I was waiting for a tour right here when I found this. And this thing I thought was a coin, but it's actually a lead seal. So if you look at these pictures, you can see this thing is lead. It's a bag seal. So if you look at the obverse, so the kind of top side, you can see the Prussian eagle. Got a little crown on it. It's looking to the right, which means it belongs to the state. It's a state eagle, and that is the eagle, of course, the Kingdom of Prussia. At the bottom, on the right-hand side, the wing's quite well preserved with the feathers, and at the bottom, the feet are there. What is a shame is that, as you're looking at it, the left foot is holding a scepter that you can't really see. But it's been stamped in lead, and at the top and the bottom there would have been these little eyes, and through there would have gone string, and the string would then be sealed as this lead was kind of clamped over it, if you like, to make sure, of course, that no one could tamper with it. It's sealed on behalf of the Prussian state. So on the reverse, it's got a name. Now, that name is one name, but it's divided into two words. At the top, you've got S-C-H-O-E-N-E, which is Schöne, and that O-E, that's that weird German letter that they usually write as an O with the two dots over it, an umlaut. But this is before the German grammar reforms done at in the end of the 1800s, so they've still got O-E. So S-C-H-O-E-N-E is Schöne, and at the bottom it says Beck, Schönebeck. Now, Schönebeck is a place that's now in a state called Sachsen-Anhalt. That is south of Berlin, and it's famous for salt. So this was made, the seal, by a company called Weitenauer, and it was made during the reign of the Prussian king Friedrich Wilhelm IV. Seal must date to that. So down in this district of Schönebeck, where you have salt in the mountains, it got mined, it was put in a massive brine tower, so it mixed it all with water and let the salt sink or precipitate out, and then it was put in sacks. It's possible that it was a seed sack. So seeds, agricultural seeds, or more likely salt, the Schönebeck salt mines. This seal would be sealed as property of the state of Prussia. And somewhere around here, or this is the problem with redeposited material that East Germany put in parks, you know, you've got no idea where it came from. It's completely out of context. But somewhere in this town, the seal was then mixed in the rubble and then brought here in some sort of truck and dumped here to consolidate the park.